So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm David Ellis. I'm relatively new to Arrow. I joined after the acquisition of Computerlinks, which was completed at the back end of last year. So, long-standing ex-Computerlinks guy. I worked there for 17 years, and I've joined Arrow as the Director of Strategy. So within that role, I have a number of different elements. I'm responsible and working with Scott for our UK cloud business. I'm driving a much more solutions-focused approach within Arrow with our pre-sales and technical account management team. I'm the key spokesperson for the press and our analyst community. And the area that I want to talk about today is around our new technologies business. So, the business itself is relatively new within Arrow UK, but it's something that we're looking to roll out and in fact are in the process of rolling out across EMEA. The sole kind of purpose of that group is to seek out, scale the market and find disruptive technologies that we think will add value to our partners' businesses. So that's both our reseller partners, but also specifically around the MSP community. So that value, of course, could be, to reduce your operating costs, improve your efficiencies. It could be to open up new revenue streams. So that team will go out there, we'll search the market, we'll aggressively launch these and then bring those to our partners. Ultimately what we want to do is to help you deliver tomorrow's data center, the data center of tomorrow. And I'll talk about that very briefly on the next slide. One thing that we want to do with this team, though, is to have a very collaborative and interactive approach with our partners. We do that in a number of ways, events like today. We've got an event coming up in November. We call it the Innovators Club, and it's a sort of community that we want to build within our partner base, whereby we'll open up some new opportunities to you. We'll do that at a very nice restaurant. There's no such thing as a free lunch, though, and we will ask you to give us some feedback, because we'll invite a handful of vendors to come along, sort of disruptive new technologies that we think can add value to your businesses. And we'd like to hear from you what you think of them, because ultimately, if you can be successful with these technologies and these vendors, then we'll be successful. So as I said, we want to make this very interactive. If you're interested in joining these kinds of forums, then if you drop your account managers an email, drop me an email, and we'll make sure that you get on the invitation list for those. Okay, so on that note, we have a couple of new vendors here today that we're in fairly early stages with. We think they're quite interesting. We're really, really keen to hear what you think of them. Do you think there's an opportunity? So I'd firstly like to introduce Nick Fernley from SignSticks. Where are you, Nick? Stand up, wave your arms. So I'd encourage you to go and talk with Nick. SignSticks have a kind of an innovative way of managing and deploying digital signage. So not only can the content be tailored and managed much more efficiently and effectively than traditional methods, they can also reduce the overall running costs of that infrastructure. So SignSticks think that there's a good opportunity for service providers to take their solutions out to the enterprise. So really, really keen to hear what you think of that. So please go and talk with Nick. He's around all day today, have some conversations and let us know what you think. Also, I'd like to introduce Paul Greaves from AQL. So I see that Paul's been forward-thinking enough to drop some brochures on the desks. So AQL have a number of services. The services that we're talking to them specifically about are their 3G SIM-based internet failover service. It's been well publicised, this sort of growth or projected growth in the Internet of Things. The amount of devices are going to explode that are connected up to the Internet. And many of these devices are going to need secure, resilient Internet connectivity. And that's where the AQL service fits in. That could be routers on the network. It could be, temperature sensors, or it could be CCTV cameras, anything that's absolutely vital that you keep that internet connectivity up. So again, please go and talk with Paul. He's around all day today, and like I said, let us know what you think. We're really, really interested. Okay, I spoke briefly on the previous slide about the way the data centers are changing, the data center of tomorrow. Users are demanding much more flexibility, they're demanding more automation. At the same time, businesses are under pressure to lower their costs. Whether that's cost of infrastructure, whether that's running costs, reducing power consumption. Corporate governance and compliance is really biting at the moment, and companies are having to comply. And of course, that all needs to be weighed up with ensuring that the data center is secure. So we think that as Arrow, we're really, really well placed to deliver this data center of tomorrow, both from a new technologies perspective, filling some of the gaps that we might have, but of course with our wider set of products and solutions as well.